morning. Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are excited that you decided to spend this morning with us here for inspiration and conversation. We apologize for our delay. We had a Teddy Riley
Just a little bit.
moment. We've been on this
Just a little
thing.
bit.
So we going to get it together. We going to get it together. But in this show, we discuss news, entertainment, finances, business, and relationships, answering your calls and emails, and getting your day started right. Okay, so we are going to begin with our morning motivation.
Yes, morning motivation. So you kind of heard if you were, you just heard the first couple minutes is just kind of a little bit of music, you know what I mean? Kind of really to set the atmosphere. I really believe in like music kind of transitioning your mindset into something that you're able to really just challenge yourself to be better for that day.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the things I want to talk about is we take losses, right? I shouldn't say that. We don't take losses. We have losses, but we end up turning them into lessons. And that's really kind of the key topic I want to kind of bring up is like, you know what, we go to pitfalls, we have pitfalls, we go through things, but those pitfalls don't have to be kind of a stopping point, right? They have to be, just something you pick up and learn from and be able to move forward past where you were at. So one of the things I like to do is I kind of get like a mention about music, but there's one song in particular that really, really just helps me when I think about, I'm stuck in a place or I'm trying to get out of a particular hole, and it's called Psychos by Jonathan McReynolds. So I'm just going to give you guys just a little snippet of it. It's a great song, so great lyrics, and it really just kind of just pushes you forward. So we'll listen a little bit of the song. We'll come right back with a little bit more content.
Didn't I conquer this last year? Tell me what I missed, 'cause I fear that it's coming back up again. Must be something I ate, some song, some show, some hate. The devil wants to extend the game, see free throws, and when it ends he wants to make the sequel. 'Cause if he has another chance, he feels like he can take my joy, my peace, my faith. See, the devil, he learns from your mistakes, even
All
if
right.
you
We
don't.
want to stay out of those cycles. A really powerful and moving song to get us motivated this morning. But as we start off, we definitely want to honor Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a heroine, the second woman to sit on the bench of the U.S. Supreme Court, fought against gender discrimination, and a champion for women's rights. So please make sure that you read about her. She's actually going to be the first woman in the history of the United States that's going to lay in a state, which is just an amazing thing. So please check her out, read about her amazing story, her contribution to America. And in her honor, and in the honor of all of those really that have fought for us, make sure that you get out there and vote in elections in November.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's a sad passing. But I think she did a lot of great things. I think she left a legacy, right, of who she was and what she stood for. But as Tristan just mentioned, right, we got to get out and go vote. October the 5th is a date for registration, last day for registration in Texas. So those that are in Texas, I'm not sure about the other states, but we live in Texas. So just make sure you go register to vote.
Absolutely. All right. So jumping into our first topic for today, statisticians are saying that the divorce rate soars in COVID-19. According to Legal Templates, divorce rates are up 34%. And the Business Insider is saying that it will increase even more after this pandemic is over. But we are also hearing from celebrities like Neo saying that this has been a benefit to his marriage to be able to spend time around his wife and family. So what are your thoughts about how marriages are impacted right now during the times of this pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, I think COVID has like changed the dynamics, right, of a relationship, and the dynamics being that now we're forced to kind of deal with one another in an intimate way that we haven't dealt before, right? And I'm saying that because there's no necessarily running back to work or running off to the store or running off to across country for a vacation. Now we're all in the same four walls, and having to deal with each other.
Yeah, there's no escape.
Right.
You know, there's no place that you can go. I think a lot of times in relationships when we have arguments or something, we have an out. It's like, okay, well, I have to go blank. I have to go to work. I have to take the kids to school. And right now, you know, things are shifting a little bit where some places are opening up, some workplaces are opening up, some schools are opening. Right. So you might have that little window, but you've been spending a lot of time around the person where before they might have been your spouse or your partner for the fun weekends or the vacations or the evening time. And now you're looking at them all day, every day, like, do I like you? Right. Are you really, you've changed over the years. Because a lot of times in relationships, you can get caught up in the doing of a thing, like all the things that you have to take care of. So then you miss the interaction. And your interactions tend to be the extreme. You're either having an argument or you're having sex. It's like, that's it.
Yeah, sometimes it's sometimes it's that.
I'm just saying good morning, but I think that can happen a lot. And then the in between is just logistics. You kind of miss the friendship. So some things that are happening now is you're kind of getting to know the person again as a person, almost like when you were dating. You're rediscovering some people, and for some of us, that's a great thing. We're getting to kind of spend some time and cuddle and talk and all of that. Cuddle for the ladies. I don't know.
Yeah, some men like to cuddle.
Okay,
you know what I mean. To me, as long as it ain't too hot, you know what I mean. That's really my main thing. If it ain't too hot, I start sweating. Start sweating. That ain't good. That's not a good thing.
Well, I like, I don't know if it's like a woman thing, but we just like our toes on y'all, because y'all's bodies,
icicles, like
y'all are just warm. I like, to spoon. Yeah. To spoon. But anyway, so a lot of us are enjoying that, and some of us others are like, this is not cool. I'm tired of looking at you. So it's a challenge sometimes for marriage and relationships in this COVID day and age. So we got to be vigilant. You got to find, even in your house, just find some time where you can take your own personal time. Because some of this time is good for your relationship, but it can also just be good personally. Just to step back, not have to go, not have to move, not have to go to the birthday party or the company function, but you can just be at the house and think about you and focus on you. Are you who you want to be? Are you doing what you want to do?
But sometimes that's a good thing, and that could be a bad thing, right? If you're not used to focusing on you, and you're forced to focus on you, sometimes you may not even like you.
Oof. True.
I'm just saying though, some people are probably maybe struggling with, okay, now I have to focus on me. I got the quiet time and the space and the time to really focus on me. And I ain't really looked at myself in that way. Now I'm kind of like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's true, but I think that that's part of it. Right. I think that taking this opportunity to evaluate yourself and to honestly say, you know what, I don't like me. What do I have to do to get there? How do I have to work on myself? Because that's that self-work that nobody can do for you, because it is true that you can hide even yourself by being able to go out and be around people, and you can hide from yourself. So some of this work, great point, might be you working on you, might be you spending some time with a journal and a book and a Bible, or, some time in prayer, or some time, just in your own meditation and saying like, you know what, I want to be somebody different, because you have the power to change you. Right. You can't change everybody else. You can't change anybody else for that fact, but you can change you. So making sure that even in this time, you're able to say like, okay, where am I? Who am I? Who do I want to be? My mom used to tell me growing up, who you want to be, you are right now becoming. So
Mama, talk about it.
Hey, thank you, Mom. But who you want to be, you are right now becoming. So look at who you're becoming by looking at your right now. And if you don't like who you're becoming, you can change it right now. You have that power. So we want to hear from you. If you're kind of experiencing some changes in your own self or in your marriage or relationships, I've talked on our podcast about therapy. If you feel like, I might need some help to get started or to process this thing, then, go get that if you need that. That's available to you. Okay. All right. So let us know, hit us up in the comments, or, send us an email, info@fusedmarriages.com, so we can talk about that.
So absolutely. So we're going to get ready to jump into our next segment. Our next segment is a letter that we received. And the title of the letter is, I love my wife, but I'm not attracted to her anymore. Wow. But before we talk about the letter, got a quick song just to kind of transition the mindset of where we're at. So we'll see you in a second.
say nothing's wrong at all, baby. I say that we falling off lately. Maybe we just ain't been on the same page, no. In my mind, I'm done fighting. In your heart, you keep trying. And the truth we not hiding, 'cause that's just the way we are.
All right. Well, today's letter comes from Jordan W. in Dallas, Texas. Dear Tristan and Michael, I have been married for 8 years. My wife and I have 2 kids, ages 6 and 4. She is a great wife and mother. My problem is I'm just not attracted to her anymore. It sounds bad. It doesn't have anything to do with weight or anyone else. Our sex life is okay. I just don't know. I'm really not sure what to do. What do y'all think?
That's a deep one right there, right? I mean, he said he's not attracted to his wife anymore.
Right.
And then I think attraction can be twofold, right? There's this physical attraction, as you know what, this Coke bottle, boom, pow, pow.
For some people like
Hey,
other.
it is in the mind. Yeah, you're right for some people. But boom, pow, pow depends. It could be whatever you like.
Whatever you like.
Whatever you
You
like.
can do whatever you like.
Right. But there's another. To me, is another part of attraction is the mental part of somebody, right?
Right.
I love them as a person, and sometimes that can compensate for, you know what, maybe they not physically what I think they should be, but they still mentally kind of make up the whole package.
Well, I'm wondering what shifted because, okay, so you have 2 kids, Jordan, and you say, you know, it sounds bad, but there's nothing with weight. There's sex is okay. You're just not attracted. There had to have been. I struggle just buying the like. It just ended.
Right.
Like there's something that happens because when you got married, you thought good enough to be like, hey. I mean, you thought good enough to have these children, to make this life. So I just don't, you know, Jordan, I don't want you to feel attacked or anything, but I just don't feel
help her.
Or no, him.
Oh, him. I'm sorry. Yeah, help him.
So Jordan W. I just don't. I don't know that that's the full story.
He
you
lied.
know, I didn't say he lied.
You call him a lie.
I omitted. You know, or may not even know himself. Like there could be something, was there an argument that you have like some resentment for? And it's like, or was there a time period where you were just kind of going through some things and you didn't communicate those things, so you felt that there was some distance? Because at least, like you can speak to the men's side, but at least from a woman's side, you know, you can be attracted, but there's something even deeper that keeps you there. There's something more than it's like, and then that person can become even more attractive because of what's there. Like I've heard like dudes talk about, you know, man, she fine. Why is she with him? You know, like, and she might have originally, or I've heard women kind of talk about being with somebody that they were not first physically attracted to. Like it'd be like, oh man. And I just looked up one day and I was like, oh my gosh, he's the one. But before that, it was like, we were just cool. You know, he's all right. You know, so I say that to say, like, again, I can't speak for the men's side. This is all the information that I have right here.
I don't know if we think like that, but let's go ahead.
Well, yeah, maybe men, y'all, because y'all are most physical first.
At least first, yeah. I mean, that's something that's got to be, you know, that draws us to you, and it's typically the physical.
Okay. Well, I just don't think that you wake up one morning and you're like, I'm not sure what it is. I just am not attracted. You know, and you say it's not the weight thing. If it were, that would be something that can be worked on. You say, you know, there's not somebody else. So I just don't think that this is all the information. That's all I'm saying, Jordan. I think that you probably have to do some kind of soul searching, be honest with yourself, talk to your spouse, you know, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Be sensitive to how she's receiving you, because that can be just a sticky situation. And I wouldn't come out and say like, I'm not attracted to you. If I were you, I would kind of word it more like, hey, I'm feeling some distance in our relationship. We're not really, you know, maybe we need to have like just some solo time. You know, if this is, you know, COVID times or putting some pressure where you're just seeing this person all the time. Maybe it's just that it's, man, I'm seeing you all the time and I'm feeling the pressure of the household, because sometimes we can attribute, some things that are happening in our lives and in our world to somebody. So like, I'm going through something, it's your fault. when really you just might be going through something. So if you're having any kind of financial, like you have 2 young kids, that's stressful enough, 6 and 4. So maybe your wife is just tending to them, so you're feeling neglected, or maybe you're really heavy with the finances and she's not asking. So anyway, that's my thoughts. I don't necessarily think that this is just a physical attraction.
I think there's more to it. You think
it's more to it. I just don't think that you wake up and you say it's not a weight thing. I don't know if there was something else going on that you're physically not attracted to, but look at your wife differently. Make a decision to look at her, and you can look at her and be like, I love this about my wife.
Right.
You know, maybe that's a more helpful hint. I love this about my wife. Look at her, man. I really love her eyes. Man, I love how her touch. I love these things because, love is both it's a progressive decision.
Right.
So you can wake up. And though I think love is also, there's the attraction piece, but you can decide not just that, okay, I'm going to stay in the marriage for the kids, or I'm just going to stay here even though I'm not happy. Like, you can decide, like, you know what, I'm going to find things that I still love about my wife. And then that thing can grow, add to that list. Man, I love this about her. Not about the things that she does, but about who she is. Man, I love her mind. I like how she thinks about this thing. I like that she's optimistic. I love that she's confident. I like these wonderful conversations that I get to have with her, or whatever it is in your case. So
yeah. I mean, the whole aspect of him kind of falling out of attraction, right? That's how I look at it from a man's standpoint. Is like, did she just let herself go?
He said it wasn't weight. So
it wasn't weight. So I mean, so it's something else. I think I'm with you now. So like, if it ain't weight, it's something else that really may have changed his mindset of how he sees her. Is there somebody else in his ear? Is he seeing like, man, I don't know, maybe he kind of has something else going on at work or finances? It's something else that's tied to it.
Yeah. But even in the cases of somebody gaining or losing weight, if it's not medical, that's also a conversation, because maybe they were, starving themselves and like, you know what, I'm sick of this. I want to be happy in my own skin, in my own body, and I want to eat what I want to eat. Or maybe they decided, you know what, you liked them a little thicker, and they were like, no, I want to lose weight. So everybody has a right to their own skin, their own body. But between marriage, it can be a conversation like, hey, let's talk this through. But ultimately, recognize that she can control her body, you can control yours. You can't control each other. That's just not how this thing works.
Yeah. It's an interesting letter, though. In case people are just jumping on, it's an interesting letter.
Yes, from Jordan W. in Dallas, Texas. I love my wife, but I'm just not attracted to her anymore. But if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or you would like to discuss what's going on in your world, email us at info@fusedmarriages.com.
All right, so let's jump into our next topic, right? And so next time we're going to talk a little about sports, right? We got the NFL going on right now, just kicked off, right? It's 2 weeks in.
Yep.
We have the NBA. It's the conference finals, the Eastern and the Western Conference finals is in the middle of it right now. And early in the middle of that, really, prior just to happen, is the Black Lives Matter movement, right? It seemed like the NBA went all in.
Like they had it on their jerseys,
the court everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? They had it everywhere, right? And like the NFL, it's like, it's kind of like somewhat, you know what I mean? You have some players that are still kneeling and some players not coming out. But I think the messaging still needs to be, pushed forward about. I'll try to separate, right, the whole rioting aspect. People go, oh, they're rioters, they're trying to cause trouble.
Right.
But it's actual way to protest something to try to get something to change.
Yeah. And
you can't necessarily lump those two together.
Yeah.
And I think if you try to do that, then all of a sudden now it's like, okay, the issue is like void to them. And I don't want people to do that. And I really would wish to, like, you know what, this is separate. You know what, there is a particular issue. Let's try to deal with it, right? We're just curious what y'all think, right? You know what I mean? It's a lot of things out there. Some of y'all may like, hey, it's a good movement. It's a bad movement. You need to kind of, like, how do we try to like move this agenda forward? Or do we need to move it forward? It's kind of leave it as it is, right?
Yeah. I think there's different ways to get your voice heard. So in terms of like the riots, I don't know that I have yet, and I'm evolving, and a huge criticism for that. I don't think that you should be setting buildings on fire. I don't think that you should be stealing what other people really worked hard to establish. But I do recognize that when there's like, it's kind of like that Jack in the Box, like you press down and you press down and you press down, and then when things pop up, you're surprised. And so right now I'm looking at things and I'm like, why are y'all surprised that people are this upset? Why are you surprised that people are rioting, are this angry? Like, there shouldn't be a shock factor because there's been oppression for decades, So so again, I do not support setting people's businesses on fire.
Right.
I do not support stealing people's property, but I also definitely understand the amount of anger and frustration and pain that is going on as we all really try to process what to do with that. So in the sports world, Colin Kaepernick really kind of began this movement in football with the kneeling. Yep. And I think that with the NBA kind of moving with the Black Lives Matter movement, like, I think it's really just understanding and recognizing that this is about police brutality. People kind of get off on this, like, oh, well, defund the police. Yeah. You clearly do not understand what the jargon itself is so jarring that people got stuck on that. Yeah, instead of what the message was. The message was, to my understanding, is reallocating funds. It's about reallocating funds that are going to these different departments. Now, whether you agree or disagree, that's what defund the police is about. It's reallocating the funds that are collected and giving opportunities to mental health, to making sure that the police department is able to do the job and is not overburdened by other things, and accessing other experts and other people that can really help in some of these situations. So that's what the defund the police is about, as opposed to, we don't want any police in the world. Like, that's just that's a hyperbolist comment that's just really, in my estimation, kind of arrogant and ignorant. But with the sports world, I wonder. I don't think that it's the end, because I think a lot of athletes, if you look on the courts and you look on the field, you will see a lot of people of color, it's like in this business. So for owners to ignore that things are happening and say, well, or for even fans to be like, well, just play the game. I think that is so pompous and so insensitive. So I think that it shouldn't stop. I'm wondering if you are boycotting football, I would love to hear from you. I really want to know.
I want to hear about that.
I want to know your thoughts. I am a big football fan and haven't really been watching like I used to. I think it's just kind of a sign of the times, like just where I am. And I don't know if I'm actively boycotting, even though I'm not watching. Right. But I am still frustrated that athletes are kind of being told, just play the game. That's what we pay you for. Like, I think that's just, I have words.
Yeah, a different mindset has to be, people have to be open to say, you know what, maybe there is something to what they're saying, right? Maybe it's not completely maybe you don't agree completely with what they're saying, but maybe there's some rational people, educated people that are saying, like, hey, something's not right.
Do you think owners need to be doing something?
Owners they need to be doing something, but they're about the money. 100% about the money. Hey, they gotta, it's their business, their livelihood, right? So the owner's primary objective is to make sure they continue making money. If they can't do that,
we're not trying to do anything social or political. It's a business.
Yeah. So I think the owners should do more. Yeah, they should do more. It should be stepping out. You know what I mean? I see a lot more college coaches doing some things about it than actually some owners or anybody else doing about it, right? I think really, because college coaches, really, they dealing with kids. I say kids, 18, young 19, adults, 20, young adults. But they're like in that prime age of like, man, they're looking at, hey, do I want to play for a coach? They have a choice. You recruited, you got a choice. Yeah. So college coaches are forced to kind of like, hey, I got to take a stand one way or another.
I think I actually remember reading that some college athletes were like rescinding their agreements and saying that they're going to be going to HBCUs or other schools that are more supportive of the Black Lives Matter movement. I wonder kind of how they are feeling about those decisions. And you're saying that really affected how coaches recruit and what opportunities they're given.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot happening out there. I'm actually very I'm pleased with what the NBA has done. They have been in the forefront of this. So if you are an athlete or you have a kid that's an athlete or you're watching sports or into sports, man, I want to hear what your thoughts are about this thing, because this is such a big movement, and it can't stop. We can't stop talking about it, because then people will stop talking about it, and that can't
Awareness
happen.
Is key.
Awareness is key.
Yeah. Awareness and dialogue, right? I think that's really key.
Yep.
So we just want to jump into our next topic. Just a little bit about men's health. And I think it's hard to mention men's health when you talk about Chadwick Boseman. Right?
Yeah.
He just to me was an amazing person. We knew he was an amazing actor.
Yeah.
But we didn't know I didn't personally know what kind of person he was, right? To be able to be battling something like cancer and still giving us something to enjoy.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what this man was at home crying or what kind of pain he was going through, what kind of thoughts going through his head. But he was really, to me, poured out everything for the time that he had. A young guy, 43.
Yeah.
So which really kind of just makes me to think like, you know what, us as men, we have to like really go get checked out.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, you know, we think we good. You know what I mean? We can just keep pushing forward, a little hurt here, a little pain there, and we don't go get checked out by a doctor. It's just an annual checkup, right? To kind of try to prevent some of the things, right? I think Chadwick, he definitely got checked out, caught it early enough. So hopefully that was something that really prolonged at least the things that we got to receive out of him, from Jackie Robinson, from Black Panther, from a host of other movies, you know what I mean, that he was in. But we have to first take ownership as men of our lives of saying, hey, I'm gonna go get checked out.
Right.
I'm making that something as person I'm taking on myself to say, hey, you know what? I need to go get checked at least once a year. Bare minimum, at least once a year.
Yeah. What's really interesting too is Chadwick Boseman, he died of colon cancer, and they tell a lot of men not to even check for that until you're 50, and he was 43. So just to add, you know, we do have to kind of take care of there's recommendations, but you take care of you. And I'm definitely not going against any doctors or anything like that, but minority men are the least statistically likely to go to the doctor. You know, there's an age gap, so it's people over 65 generally, according to statistics, do not really like going to the doctor, and then minority men of all ages do not like going to the doctor. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself is just going to be a really big thing. We definitely lost a great talent, a man of great integrity. I know there was kind of some conversation like, well, he should have been home. He shouldn't have been doing all of these things. But I also recognize like the drive to not just die. Yeah. You know, I think sometimes when you're dealing with something that's so major, you can kind of feel like, well, I'm going to close in, and that's anybody's choice. So if you're dealing with something and you decide that you just want to stay at home and you want to work on you, there's the other side of the coin. Some people are like, I'm not going to die at my house. Right. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die moving. Hey. And that's something that I've actually for my life, however you do you, please do you, please take care of yourself. I have no criticism, but I know one of the things for me that I can say right now, and during times of stress and trouble, things change. But I can say right now for me, I want to make sure that I am moving towards death. Like that's not going to catch me sleeping. Like I'm gonna be doing something. And I feel like that was what he was trying to do. It's trying to, hey, I'm gonna be doing something. I'm not gonna let this stop me. I have a passion and a drive that is motivating me. And because of that, we have such great pieces of work. I know my daughter, she actually saw, my daughter is she's 4, and she saw Chadwick Boseman's picture on the news. And they were talking about, you know, his passing, and she didn't know that because she's 4. She just saw it and said like, look, Black Panther, it's Black Panther. So he inspired, a 4-year-old that's excited about that and says like that the images look like her. And that she tries to do some of the moves is kind of problematic, but she tries to do some of the
loves Black Panther movie. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing at 4, but she liked the movie.
She
liked the movie. Hey, but real quick,
might have to monitor some of that.
Real quick, I just want to say good morning, Kim. Good morning back to you, Kim Reynolds.
Good morning,
our
Kim.
friend. And she mentioned about, you know, she had a colonoscopy, right? She's the same age. She mentioned in her comments she's the same age as Chadwick.
Wow.
Right? I mean, I think that's how serious, right? I mean, this is someone person that we know, we love, we care about, we pray for Kim. And like, man, it just kind of even hits home of like, you know, it's not just men, maybe it's women too, right? Of kind of making sure we take care of ourselves.
Yeah, because we have to check out everything that's going on with our bodies, and a lot of, you know, doctors have recommendations. Like I was saying earlier, doctors have recommendations, and you should follow the recommendations, but you should also listen to yourself. You'd be like, you know what? I'm not so sure. Let me get a second opinion. Let me take care of me. I'm not feeling so great. Let me see what I can do. Right. And that has to do with going to the doctor, maybe, you know, taking a walk, exercise, eating, all of that stuff. But you look out for you, because this is the one life. So, you know, like something happened to you, the doctor's going to say, well, I did the best I could,
Yep,
you know,
yep.
and we got families to take care of. We got things to do in this world. So make sure you take care of your colon, your heart, your lungs, your brain. In our next show, we're actually going to be talking about mental health. So making sure that you're watching how you're thinking about yourself, about life, because stress is a killer. So we'll talk about that. Stress is also a killer, but much love to Chadwick Boseman, Wakanda forever. But we're going to jump into our next song before we close it out.
Let's do it. This song is called Rise by Saul Paul. It's a little snippet, but I think it's just something, you know what, just it's a motivational song that kind of helps you get lifted. Let's check it out.
Rise to the moment, rise to the occasion. Open your eyes, recognize there's greatness within your reach. You should seize it, you should take it. Can you see it? Can you taste Destiny? Hard work in the planner, that's a recipe for success. That'll launch you where them blessings be. The road to riches, though, that's where them testers be. But I'm focused.
All right, rise. Okay, family. Oh man, we kind of covered a lot today in some of our conversation, but it is time for us to do our heart check. Now, this might be a little new to some of you. I'm very into kind of meditation and thinking and contemplating. So I'm going to introduce you guys to something, and we'll be doing it on all of our wake up calls. But Michael, you gotta show them too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it with you. Come on.
All right, so go ahead and put your hand on your heart and breathe. All right. I want you to feel your heartbeat. With your heartbeat, I just want you to recognize in the busyness of the day and with everything that you have to do, that you have purpose, that you matter. It's important for us to remind ourselves that we were created for a purpose, with a purpose. So as you feel your heartbeat, you know, hey, I got something else I have to do. All right. So take your hands off your heart. Open your eyes. If your eyes were closed, if you were driving, I hope your eyes weren't closed.
Yeah, don't do that. Be a bad thing.
It's just always important for us to recognize and realize that with every heartbeat that we have another opportunity to make a difference. So we don't want to hold you too long, but thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you on all of our social media platforms at Fused Marriages, or fusedmarriages.com. You can hit us up there. We will be back next Tuesday from 6 to 7 for Fused Wake Up with Mike and Tristan. Be sure to check out all of our podcasts on any of your podcast platforms or your youtube.com/Fused Marriage. Fused Marriages Season 2 begins October 18th. Coming up, Season 2 of our podcast. So check out some of the other ones that we have had. They are online, and you can see what we are talking about. Also, still be sure to email us if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or you have a letter that you want us to read. But we will see you guys next Tuesday.